Now, I'm going to get serious just for a second here. I'm kind of serious, but this is what our world right now, at Ontario Living, we see a lot of people, they start with a little baby medication. The next thing you know, it leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. So the first point this morning I want to make, so if you're just kind of thinking about how do I follow this is the first point. Number one, you have to start asking better questions. You do it in your business. You know, if I have skin problems, I got to understand that the human body heals from the inside out. So if I have skin problems, I have problems with digestion. But nobody's talking about that. They're just going to give you more stuff, right? So again, part of your profession is not only help them with what you teach, what you're promoting, but also help understand that. If you have a headache, think about this for a minute. If you have a headache, do you have an ibuprofen deficiency? You guys get it. Of course you don't. So the first thing people do, though, when they have a headache, they reach for ibuprofen or anti-inflammatories. In reality, they might be dehydrated, they might be lacking magnesium, they might be lacking healthy fats, but they're not asking the right question. So if you looked at a typical medicine cabinet, this is what you see. High blood pressure, cholesterol, the list goes on. We've all been there. We've all seen this stuff. These are lifestyle medications, but nobody's talking about them in the right. So if you have to get on a medication, I'm not your doctor, I'm not telling you to get off a medication or not, but before you get on any medication, you got to step back and go, wait a minute. If that plant was wilted on the side of the road, we all understand soil, sunlight, water. Same thing with the human body. It's amazing how it heals itself. So I was speaking at this large convention a couple years ago. I get a phone call. We're doing Q&A at the end. I get a phone call from this woman. She calls me up. She said, hey, I was in your audience. You're talking about atrial fibrillation, the fluttering of the heart. Many men get atrial fibrillation in their early 50s. Many women get it in their late 50s. She said, my husband has atrial fibrillation. Can you help me? I said, sure. Here comes the questions. Number one, what's he taking medication-wise? He's taking atrial fib med, and he's taking a beta blocker. He's taking a beta blocker. Beta blockers are very powerful medications. I said, you've lost your husband, haven't you? I have. My husband has no energy anymore. He has no interest in me. He has no interest in anything. Of course, he's on a beta blocker. It shuts down the human body. I said, is he taking anything else besides the beta blocker? She said, like what? I said, is he taking any form of anti-inflammatories, ibuprofen? She said, give me an example. I said, Tylenol, Aleve, Advil. She said, yeah, he takes Aleve. I said, how long has he been taking Aleve? She said, he's been taking Aleve for probably 10 years. How often does he take it? Twice a day. I go, I think that's your problem. Ladies and gentlemen, anti-inflammatories are so unhealthy for the human body. You get a bee sting, you got a toothache, you do it short term, not a big deal. But if you're doing it chronically, one of the worst things you put in the human body. So I said to her, here's the deal. You get him off as Aleve right now and replace that with cod liver oil. Cod liver oil is an anti-inflammatory. So you start putting that cod liver oil in his diet. Number two, your husband's deficient in magnesium. Because when you put these medications together on top of anti-inflammatories, they pull out of the body one of the most powerful minerals in the human body. It's called magnesium. It helps with headaches, it helps your sleep, helps your blood pressure, and it helps with your heart. Magnesium controls the contraction of the heart. Your husband's deficient in magnesium. I want you to have him do an Epsom salt bath twice a week, 2 cups. Soak in that for 10 minutes. Number two, I want you to have him start consuming oatmeal in the morning. And on top of that oatmeal, I want you to put cacao nibs, real chocolate. One thing goes, next thing goes, 18 months go by, and this gentleman is now atrial fib free. She's got her husband back. You can start asking better questions. And that's what your mother did for you. She started saying, okay, I got to start changing things. The doctor got involved. It's all that stuff, making those better questions would deliver better answers.